And growing up, I mean, it was like I could not explain it, but I had this. At the time, I mean, of course, I couldn't explain it. I was more like a goldfish. I mean, I ain't know nothing going on outside the bowl. You feel me? And so, I mean, growing up, I had this internal, like, it was like this inherent feeling of like happiness. Like I just had like a joy because I felt like I had a future. You feel me? I felt like I had hope. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't explain it, but I just was giddy all the time. I just, what I'm saying? Like I just knew in my heart that one day I'm gonna be something. You feel me? One day I'm gonna be successful, and I didn't know how, what, when, or where. But I knew. I just felt like in my heart that I would make a difference in the world, some kind of way. And so I just had like this continual hope in my life. And I was happy, what I'm saying, because I felt like I had a future. And little did I know, it was a whole entire war going on around me. You feel me? That was to take that away from me. So I'm just going through life, going on, carry on, happy-go-lucky, and without knowing, the true reality of what was going on around those times. You know what I'm saying? All my life, and that very future that I was so enthusiastic about. Though I didn't understand, I didn't understand no details, or how or what. It just was there though. And then one day it was all just over. You feel me? Like, I mean, and I didn't understand for, it was like that for a while, that's what I knew. And it was just the best thing ever. And it's like every now and then in life, throughout life, even now, God give me like, it's like, I can see like, it's that a lot of things that's the way it is now wasn't supposed to be like it is now. You feel me? A lot of things weren't supposed to be like that, just, and I mean, actually I think that's almost everything, right? In proportion to my life. And that's, and I mean, it wasn't until the first, last year, from January to March, April, from January to April, within those months was my first time even knowing what happened, as far as like my omega. And, all of that, turns out, like I said, it was like a whole war going on. A lot like what happened, where I myself personally had witnessed when I got older in these years. A lot of the same thing was happening back then, under the radar. And so, I mean, now it makes sense, what I'm saying, in hindsight, but yeah, at the time, man, and like I say, it was just one day, it was all just gone, that certainty I had, that I would be great, and and that's the thing, what I mean, because as a child, I didn't understand the difference between, the hood and the suburbs, for instance, what I'm saying, the rich or the poor, you don't understand those types of things till you get older, so I didn't really understand the likelihood, things that you don't consider as a child, the likelihood that my hopes that I had would have really amounted to something. Cause I didn't understand the entirety of the position I was in, all my, people was in, people that cared about me, and we was really disadvantaged. We was disadvantaged, and so, I look back and I mean, in this entirety of the situation, keep me lost for words, what I mean? Because the whole time, I was, had my hope and faith, I mean, I just knew, what I'm saying, certainty of the future. And the whole time, that very thing was being stripped away from me. And it was a whole war going on, my people. till the devil was able to have his will. You know. But I'll tell you how the Bible played into that. You know, because now I'm older, knowing that this was something that was in the Bible. You know, this was a prophecy. So it was permitted. You know what I'm saying? That God's people would have been overcome. You feel me? At that time, it's in the Bible. It's in Revelation 13. You know, and it was permitted. You know that God's people. I think it's 13. Yeah, just double check. I'll double check. But yeah, man, it was permitted that God's people, you know, would have been overcome at that time. Hence why I'm in the position I am, you know. While I have made a difference in the world, you know, as far as like for God and things, you know, it ain't nowhere what it, you know, could have been. But I'm grateful though that the truth and the story was able to, you know, get out, take wings, take flight. And yeah, man, and you can't blame nobody for what happened to them. You can't blame nobody for what happened to them, you know. You feel me? Like I can't be, you know, like, I mean, the evil that was thrown on my life was out, it was beyond my control. You know, early on, and it followed me ever since. You know, and growing up, I was, you know what I'm saying, I was not like, you know, I wasn't a problem child or nothing like that. I was quite the opposite because I had like I don't know, man, that extra limited, like I didn't really feel, you know what I'm saying, that I really belonged to anything for a large part of my life. And that was what I didn't know, but that was mostly during the time after, you know, that strange, unexplainable transition happened. You know what I'm saying? When I was like in my childhood, I ain't understand it. It's like things just got like real dark out of nowhere. You feel me? That's how it was from my perspective. Like things just got like very dark out of nowhere. You know what I mean? I was so hopeful all the time, but that because I ain't recognize evil. You feel me? I didn't know evil. You know? The only thing I knew was the atmosphere of heaven. And that's what that feeling was. You know, that I always had. I didn't understand it. You know, it was like hope. It was like hope, certainty of a future and things like that. So, I mean, it was just all consuming, you know, and I just, you know, it didn't, and that's all I knew and understood, you know. I didn't understand evil, you know. But it definitely, you know, had its interest in me, though. As you see, man, to this very day, I still get, you know, inflicted with this, you know, I'm still getting remotely tortured every day of my life, you know. Just like the Lord got tortured, you know, by a place, I mean, in plain sight. Feel me? By a place, I mean, you know what I mean? Spiritually, it's like Sodom and Egypt, man. What is it? Spiritually, or to say the place where our Lord was crucified. You know, and so you see all that to a lesser, smaller scale. You know, the same thing happened. You know, and I get tortured for talking about my life. You know, from what I know and experience. You know, remotely still. You know, that's all you need to know about America. You know, as far as like spiritual, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, the Bible talks about it, man. The beast, you know, some influential figures, they control the structure. So, you know, I mean, you control the land depending on how much money you got. Not what the Constitution say. You know, man. It's strange, you know, but I mean, that's how it was my childhood, man, all the way to now. Like, I wasn't even cognizant, you know, the fact that there was a war take away the very thing that made me. And then it was just one day it was just all gone. Everything just was dark. It's just like ever since. Every now and then I see windows. It's just like, say if there was a building. It's just like say if it was a building that was a shop. It was a building that was a shop, and they specialized in lavender fragrances. You feel me? And say okay, it was specialized in lavender fragrances. So lavender is something that's all like integrated into the building and all. It was just a lavender place, a lavender shop or something like. It just specialized in lavender fragrance, And I say the building moved, like the business moved, but the building stayed there. You feel me? Say if people took, say if everybody that worked there, they moved to a bigger business or something like, 300 miles away, whatever. So the building's still there. Say the building was uninhabitable, if nobody went to use the building for business for like, let's say decades or something. And say one day somebody see the business, they turn it into, a toy store. Or, they turn it into a toy store. And it's just like a situation where, it's just like a situation where you are, people, they turn it into a toy store, and they feel like, every now and then they get whiffs of lavender. You feel me? Even though it hasn't been a lavender shop, for over 20 years or something. You know what I'm saying? But every now and then the business is a toy store now, so it's a toy store, so they have nothing to do with lavender, but they remodel it, everything. But every now and then they get whiffs of lavender. That's how it is here. Except for those whiffs are heaven. God, what it would have been, God would have brought his kingdom on earth. He gonna do it anyway later, but it would have been sooner. You feel me? And that's how my life is. Every now and then I get like well, I mean, my life would have went a certain trajectory, had a certain turn of events would not have happened. And that would just, and they happened just because the devil was in the earth. And the beast, which is the dragon, do not want the truth known, man. The beast does not want the truth out. That's how you can tell what's the Antichrist spirit. Just the fact that it's possible now for any reason, that shows you that has conquered, or that's the structures. You know what I mean? 'Cause I tell you right now, nobody that torture you love you. You feel me? I mean, sometimes the Lord let you go through stuff, test of your faith, endurance, but he ain't gonna put no more you can bear. You know what I mean? But that's the thing though, man. It's all my life, man. I wanted the truth to be out, man. Then I could rest in peace. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff that's not accurate, and it doesn't benefit God if it's not accurate, So when it comes to me, my correspondence, I want the truth out,